Well, it is so good to see you. Amazing to see you. Thank you for coming. Wow. For 2 years, I think we have sprayed more spray than can be sprayed. We've worn our masks and honored our country in every way we can. And isn't it a delight that the current law says 1,000 people can be in this room? Isn't that amazing? We thank God for that. And so there are 950 chairs out here. Looks like they're all taken. And then there is overflow outside. And so if you would like to sit outside, you're more than welcome to join those guys outside. But this is beautiful to see the church of Jesus. And you guys are the leaders standing together like this. Amazing. You know, last night when I was thinking about this, because we really did contemplate doing this in very small venues all around the province. I thought that phrase, you know that phrase, go big or go home, you know that phrase? And while I was thinking about it, I looked on my phone and a guy's status had that, go big or go home, and then this next to it. But you totally underestimate my desire to go home. I thought, boy, that's what's happened to the world, hey, a desire to be at home. So good for you to come out, thank you. And online as well, I'm looking at them. There they are in Cape Town. Good to see you guys there in Cape Town. Let's give them a huge encouragement. And so those Cape Town leaders come from Langebaan. There's something going on up there. Somerset West, the site has just been planted. And at Woodstock, in the middle of Cape Town. Also online are our friends from Malta. Let's encourage him. Good to have you, Andre. Those of you who don't know the Malta story, Andre and Nadia have planted the site out there. Andre was a professional golfer. He gave up golf, you know, when the time was right, and he became like the karaoke king of the Midlands, singing karaoke in every bar that he could find. And then Jesus got hold of him, got involved in that Howick site. Come on, Howick. Come on. And God's moved him to Malta. And so what an incredible thing that has happened out there. So good to have them live with us this evening from all across from the Mediterranean. I believe that a recalibration is going to happen here tonight. God's done something profound over the last 2 years, but I think that he wants to deal with us this evening. And I am so expectant. I'm trusting that you're going to be asking God this question. Lord, stir my heart. And not only stir my heart, show me what you want me to do. The reason we get together like this at the beginning of the year is to wait on God together and to look at the big things that he's put in our lives. And as a family, we do those things together. And so the question I'm asking you to ask, say, God, stir my heart and show me what you want me to do this year. Now, there are 3 big emphases that we're going to have, and we're going to jump straight into it this evening. The first, we are utterly convinced that it is harvest time more than ever before. If you're not familiar with that phrase, John chapter 4, Jesus said, look up, the fields are white unto harvest. People have been out of church, they've been rocked, their world has been rocked, and they need Jesus, and the church has been commissioned to present Jesus to them. And so we're going to look at that from a fresh angle tonight. Remember, I asked you to think this question through. Lord, stir my heart. Don't let me sit numb to this. Stir my heart and show me what you want me to do. Secondly, we're going to look at how, when somebody gets saved, how they discipled. And this is the big idea for tonight, is that the Bible way is house to house. Connect groups are not a good idea. They are God's idea to disciple, to strengthen, to raise people up, and to get them mature in the faith. We're going to look at that from a whole new angle tonight. But a huge thing that I think God wants to underline this evening is that leaders are pioneers. A pioneer is someone who who breaks open and who takes people where they wouldn't go ordinarily. And when leaders stand up and lead, when they pioneer, God is glorified and his church moves into what he calls her to. And so we're going to look at pioneering. We're going to say, how is God stoking the fires, and how does he want you and me to respond? So we're going to kick off by looking at discipleship for a moment. And so turn your attention to the screen and we will go from there. Thank you.
We left Pietermaritzburg 4 years ago to pursue a new adventure in Longabon up the west coast of Cape Town. And we've started a little coffee roastery there, up there as well. One of the things we did lack up there was community and church. We tried a few churches, didn't really find anything. We didn't find home eventually. So what we decided a few months ago, and just through prodding from God, is to start our own connect group under One Life Church again, which has been amazing. It's grown out of that there. We're sitting with roughly 24 people in our home group from the local community. We've got 7 or 8 kids in the children's church, which my daughter Ava runs, and Bronna, my wife, and I have been running the Connect Group for the last 4 months. It's been quite amazing, and out of that there's a good chance that we're going to birth a new site up in Longabon in the near future, just because we find there's a demand for community and just for love of Jesus Christ.
Good evening. Hey, it is lights. So I think if you've been at One Life Church for any amount of time, even if tonight's your first time, I think we hear about connect groups a lot. And there's a good reason why. If I think back to my personal story, very quick, 30 seconds. I had been a Christian my entire life, but I can definitely define the moment when I joined a connect group as one of those moments where my faith was taken to the next level. In fact, Ruth Wimble was my first connect group leader ever. I was this wild drama university student at UKZN, and I remember the one day waiting to get my student card, John Flanagan and Caro Kern found me and invited me to Connect Group. And I knew when I came to your Connect Group there was something more. And my life took a completely new trajectory, and that was because of the Connect Group. And so that is exactly why we speak about Connect Groups so much, because they are genuinely life-changing groups. And so tonight we're going to be chatting with 3 incredible Connect Group leaders, and after chatting with them this past week, I feel like I want to join their Connect Groups. I felt so loved. Even though I wasn't a part of their Connect Groups, I was like, man, I just felt so valued. So Ruthie, we'll start with you. Just by way of introduction, how long have you been leading Connect Groups for?
I started when I was 16, and now I'm 32, so 16 years. Yeah.
Yes. So Ruth, I want to just jump straight into things this evening, and I want to ask you why. Why do you lead Connect Groups? Why do you do it? Why do you get up every Tuesday morning or whatever day you do Connect Group, and you get ready for someone to come drink your coffee, ruin your couches, dirty your floor? Why do you do that?
I was thinking of the answer today to this question, and then I thought people would be ashamed to know how long I took to think of an answer. The first thing that came to my mind was that I was dragged to Connect Group as a child and had to sleep under the chair for the whole of my childhood. And then when I reached teenagehood, all of my brothers and sisters were leading Connect Groups, so it felt like the obvious thing that I had to do. So I started off thinking, yeah, this is just what teenagers do. But yeah, on further thoughts, I think 2 reasons that keep me going is, firstly, I think God is so personal with us. And I think Connect Group really communicates the personal heart of God for us. There's something very personal about having somebody in your home, about asking how their week is. I've made friends with people in Connect Groups that I would have never come into contact with otherwise, and those friendships have lasted for years. There's something really special about living the highs and lows with people of their lives. And so, yeah, that's the one reason, God's personal nature. And then the second thing would be just the spiritual growth that I've seen through Connect Groups in my own life personally. It constantly stretches me and urges me to seek God more. And then seeing somebody pray for the first time out loud when they'd never done that, or seeing somebody lead a Connect Group discussion when they don't view themselves as a leader, and I just trick them by saying, you just have to read the questions off the paper. You don't have to do anything else. I'll help you the rest of the way, or seeing somebody take that step of baptism when they've come to Christ, seeing somebody bring an unsaved family member into a home environment where it would be the first time that they encounter the gospel. And so, I think that spiritual growth is just, it keeps me going.
And Aretha, you've been doing this for a long time, so I think you've had your ups, you've had your downs. Have you ever hit one of those wobble moments where you thought, actually, I'm done, I can't? Like, me personally, I can't, I've got nothing more to give. Have you reached a place like that?
Yeah, I can only think of one time when I've hit that. My dad passed away a few years ago, and I just hit a real low in my life personally. And I think when you're struggling to get up each day, you kind of think, what can I get rid of? Because I don't have the capacity and I don't have the energy. And I thought, yes, I still have to go to work, but I'm sure I could cut out Connect Group. I really like to be vulnerable. I was struggling to read the Bible. I was really questioning the goodness of God in my own faith, and almost felt like a fraud going to Connect Group and sitting there like I have it together when I didn't. And I remember really praying about it, and God, I just thinking, if I hit a crisis and as the leader I drop out of community for a season, it would be okay, but it wouldn't be the best for the people, because then when they hit a crisis, they're also going to pull out of community, which would be the worst thing for them. And I remember saying to the Lord, I have nothing to give. I feel like I can't even smile at people. I'm not going to prepare. I can't pray like I usually did. I've got about 10% to give, but like all I can give is that I'll pitch up every Tuesday. And for about 3 months, I literally gave about 10% of what I usually would. But it was incredible in that time to see how God used other people in the group, raised leaders, and how it just carried on. It ticked over. And so, I was just thinking sometimes we do hit like personal discouragement, but sometimes it's okay to just pitch up for a season. And I'm so glad I didn't give it up in that time. Yeah.
Sure, Ruthie, thank you. We'll come back to you in a moment. Freedom, so Ruth was chatting about kind of the why we do what we do, what motivates us to get ready for the next Tuesday. And so just chatting with you this week is, what do you think it is? Why do you think some people don't step up to lead a Connect group? What do you think it is that holds them back?
See, I'm going to answer that in two parts.
Great.
So the first part is that as Christians and as leaders, we tend to create this thing in our minds that to step up leading a Connect group, it comes with like a lot of expectations from you. So one of the expectations is that I don't have enough Bible knowledge, or I just got saved, or it's a long commitment for myself, or maybe it's a solo journey that I have to be part of which I don't think that, for me personally, when I started leading a Connect group, I remember my first Connect group that I led, Victor Robert, who was a pastor of a church, handed over to me that Connect group, and I didn't know a thing, I was just a Christian who just got saved, but God was so faithful, And then number two is that sometimes we tend to look at like the how a lot, like how can I do it, But if you look at our life as Christians, we've been to many trainings and all those things, of which we can always have how question, how, even though you've learned like how to do it. But I also think, as Ruth was sharing it, it's about why, the reason behind, And so once you've got that conviction, actually, this thing is biblical. God wants us to be part of this thing. Yeah. The how, it's a bonus. God always gives us the how in grace, and He always gives us that.
So I think that turning point is when you get the why.
Yes.
When you get the why, not always the how. That's amazing. Now, if you've been around church circles, you often hear people telling you to risk it with someone, like just risk it with this leader. And I've often thought, okay, what does that even look like? Like, what does it mean to risk it with someone? Do I just say like, go? But so for you, Freedom, what does it look like to risk it with the new leader? For someone who you might not, everyone might not pick, but how do you do that? What does it look like practically?
I think to risk at someone, firstly, we need to understand that before we risk to someone, we need to create a development culture, leadership development culture in whatever circle that you are part of as a leader. So if there's that leadership development culture in your space, it's your welcoming team space where you are leading, it's much easier because everybody knows that actually there's development happening, leadership development here. So if it comes to them, it's their time to be given a chance. It's not like, oh my goodness, because we've got that development culture happening in that space.
And how do I know if I look at someone if I could risk with them or not? Like, what do I risk on?
I think the first thing, like for me, like I don't care how much you speak or how much you're so loud or you preach so good or you sing well. The character that reflects Jesus is very important for me. So if that character, if your walk with Christ reflects, it's important. Even though you don't know the scriptures or you've never preached before, but if the character reflects the love of Jesus.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So you guys are doing some incredible training at Pupomeni. Can you just give us just a brief into what you're doing and kind of what your goal is by the end of this training, what you're hoping to achieve through this training?
So yeah, we've started on the 11th of January. So where we've invited all the leaders to be part of those things. Actually, it's as leaders and somebody who've never led a connect group before, and we're saying, okay, let us journey together for the next 4 weeks. So the first Tuesday we covered the question, why connect group? So for people that doesn't understand or who's not into this thing yet, the second Tuesday we covered how connect group. So this coming Tuesday we're going to be doing practical, of which the people that have never led a connect group for the first time, they'll get a chance to lead a connect group during trainings. And on Sunday the 30th, we'll do it on Sunday. So back after the preach, then we'll do the connect on Sunday. But we are trusting that on the 1st of February, after that Sunday, we're going to launch as much as possible connect groups, and because we want to pioneer that whole area of Ipopomeni. So we're excited about it.
We're excited for you too. We'll be praying for you. So if you need advice on training, find your man.
Yeah.
Okay, Shashi. So Shashi, you guys have had a crazy move. You're just all over the show actually. So now, this is one of the people I spoke to this week who I literally felt like I was part of his connect group. I'm amazing. I'm like, Lord loves me. I just felt ready to go. I want to plant 5 connect groups. Just Monday to Friday. Now, let me just tell you, in Shashi's own words, they treat their connect leaders like VIPs. That's amazing. Can you tell why I felt so loved? Just hearing about it. So, Shashi, can you just talk us through just a general evening, what your evening looks like, your prep to the whole evening, because there's obviously something you do that's really special that makes a person feel like a VIP when they come to your connect group.
Sure. So we've been running connect groups for a while now, and our current connect group, just at the outset I want to say that we have just handed over the leadership of that group to another outstanding couple, and we know they're going to do great things. And so our prep starts basically with the connect prep in itself. We share the prep, and everyone has a chance to review it prior to the connect actually occurring. But we're big on pursuing a relationship. We're big on eating together. We're big on praying together. We're big on sharing special moments together. And so when I say that we treat every connect member as a VIP, it's because everyone in this room, as children of God, sons and daughters of God, created in God's image, God made everyone. And so you are VIPs. You're kingdom subjects. And so we're always very conscientious of the fact that the people that we are tasked to lead, or the people that we have the privilege of leading, that they're special to the Lord. And out of that heart of love, we treat them as VIPs. So,
That's amazing.
Yeah, so Luz does the finer intricacies. We make a good team with the decor and the little fancy meals and stuff like that, and just press in,
And also, they claim themselves to be the best connect group.
Of course.
So you can take that up with him afterwards. Shashi, just in closing, can you just give us one last bit of encouragement for current leaders, potential leaders, just the one thing burning on your heart that you would love to share? Just give us one last banger of a point there.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Okay.
There we go. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Freedom, Ruth, Shashi. You guys were amazing, and we are very encouraged. If you wouldn't mind, you can turn your attentions to the screen as we get ready to welcome up our first preacher for the evening.